Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you around the world and across the country in your different time zones. It's Thursday. Once again, it's 8 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London at 1 a.m. And it's Friday morning also in Tokyo, Japan at 10 a.m. They're just enjoying their breakfast and getting started right away. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and welcome aboard to another edition of Talk Back Live. We come to you live directly from New York City. That's where we originate. And we come all around the world to entertain you, and we're so glad to have you along with us. We're going to be here for the next hour. Now, for those of you who are here for the very first time, this is how the show goes down. We come on each week at this particular time. Now, depending on what your time zone is, we're Eastern. You may be something else. Look at your clock, because that's exactly the time that we come on each week in your area. And of course, we start the show as me being the host of the show. We get started. I throw out a few things, get a few things done, and you could say hi to me at the same time. And if you want to join in conversational or create a conversation that we could all talk about, all we have to do is get you to type all of your conversations right in there with your keyboard, and I will see you right there on the big screen, and I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas, and we'll talk all about it together. You'll get a chance to meet a lot of people as they come in too. You'll talk to me as I talk to you live, and of course, we invite you to tell your friends and family to come along with us. Now, we come to you each week in from three different places. We come to you live on Facebook, we're on Instagram Live, and we're also on YouTube. And so with that in mind, we invite all of you who are watching us on Facebook to tag your friends. Tag this show to your friends right now. Tag them. They will see the information. They will see the notification. They'll click onto that notification, and it'll bring them directly to us. And they can see you, they can see me and others. And if they like what they see and hear, maybe they'll be here for the duration each week, just like you. And we hope that they do. Those of you who are watching us on YouTube, all you have to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know why? Because every time you subscribe to my YouTube channel, it'll give you a chance to know when we come on the air live or when we post something for you and you happen to be online and you see that notification pop up. You can go directly and it'll bring you right to the page itself. So that's one thing you can do. Now, for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, all you have to do is just follow us each week. And of course, we provide the same fun. Now, those of you who are watching us on Instagram, understand something. You don't get to see everything that, let's say, for instance, someone else watching us on YouTube or Instagram, or Facebook, I should say. For instance, when Brian Camp come on, you won't get a chance to see him because we're not set up that way. You'd only meet him. You'll hear him, but you won't be able to see him. But that's how it goes. So pick your choice. Pick your choice of platform. We're right there with you. And no matter where you go around the world, I don't care where it is. We're right there with you because we're global. We're all around the world. Now, remember that all of the conversations that we have here, all of our opinions and thoughts and views does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinion of the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any broadcast facility. So remember to tell all of your friends about it. Tell your family and friends. And as I said, for you Facebook watchers, tag them. And don't forget, for all of you YouTubers, just subscribe to my YouTube channel, and that's it. And of course, needless to say, for all of you guys who are watching us on Instagram, just follow us each week. Later on in the program, as I already mentioned, I just laid it out there a little bit, but I'm going to give it in detail. Brian Camp will be along. We're going to link up with him. We link up with him each week because he's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and we're going to link up with him because he has for you the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update, and he's going to bring you some happy news too, and I can't wait to hear it. It's all coming up on the show, and minutes from now, he'll be here. We also have other information for you. For instance, we have this day in history. We have a few things that we do that each week as well. We have information on what goes down in the history of each day that we come on. So we have on this day in history that's coming up later on in the program as well. And even later on than that, we have all of those great movies that you love so much. You know, the Turner Classic Movies. All those Turner Classic Movies. Okay, now a lot of you do like classic movies, and a lot of you may want to catch up on some movies this weekend in conjunction for whatever you're going to do in conjunction with that. You may want to catch up on some movies. Well, I have a few movies that I want to add to your bucket list of things to watch, and that's all coming up later on in the program. You have 17 days left before that glorious day, that marvelous day, that Christmas day. 17 shopping days left. Now, if you're still a shopper, like a lot of people are, you have 17 days to go. Now, a lot of you wised up and did the shopping on Black Friday. That was the day after Thanksgiving Day. So you went out there when all of those sales were going on, and you got out there early. Some people actually camped out. Would you believe that? Some people actually camped out the day after Thanksgiving to go to these big department stores to check out the sales, and they just wanted to be there when the doors open so they can get their pick of the litter. But if you didn't get a chance to shop on Black Friday when they had the sales, now you have to pay a little bit more, but you still want to shop. You got 17 days. That's pretty good. 17 days is a good length. That's coming up. The problem is that the days go so fast, and Christmas, I can't believe Christmas is just right around the corner. So keep that in mind, 17 days and 17 shopping days. And if you're looking for something from me, surprise me. Surprise me. Okay, we have all of these things coming up for you. I'm so glad to have you aboard with us. And of course, you already know, we've had so many things happening this weekend. A lot of things happened this weekend, but I just want to mention a couple of things. There's something I want to get out of the way. You know, actress Kirstie Alley, you already heard about that story. Of course you have. You've been out there. You've heard about it. The only reason why you're hearing it now is because remember that we're only here once a week, right, at this time. So this is kind of old news, but just going to bring it back to you because that's what we do. Kirstie Alley of Cheers. What a wonderful actress she was, and very funny too. She was in Cheers, she was in Drop Dead Gorgeous and a lot of other things. She did a lot of dramatic stuff too, I remember. Well, actually, she passed away this past Monday at the age of 71 years old after a short battle of colon cancer. And that was already confirmed by her family. She has 2 kids, and they already confirmed that story. So we were sorry to hear about that. We send all of our prayers and our thoughts and our condolences out to her children and the rest of her family, all of her fans like yourselves, all of the people who have worked with her colleagues, worked with her on the set of Cheers and all of that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people were surprised by that. I know I was. I didn't even realize she was sick. You know, I never heard the story before, unless, of course, maybe I missed out on something. But I didn't know she was sick. She's 71 years old. And 71 years old is, in this day and age, is a young age. So she was taken away from us kind of soon. But again, we want to send all of our condolences out to her family and friends and the rest of you who loved it so much. Just send those thoughts out. Also, I want to send some more thoughts out too. And you heard the story. This story just broke today. Story just broke today. And she's a marvelous singer. I never met her. I played her records a lot when I was a disc jockey. But Celine Dion postponed her tours. She postponed tour dates as she revealed an incurable health condition that she had. Now, Celine Dion has revealed that she has been diagnosed with a thing called stiff person syndrome. stiff person syndrome. For short, that's SPS. And that's a rare neurological disorder. It features a autoimmune system, an autoimmune disease. And she's been suffering with this a long time. She just never made it public to anyone until now. So she's canceling all of her tour dates. She's a Vegas resident. She has a show there in Vegas. She has to cancel that. She cancels all of those shows. Everything is canceled, until she can deal with this. Now, this disease that she has is treatable. So she's with her doctors. She's working with her doctors. It's treatable, but it's no cure. There's no cure for it. But she has the confidence. She says she has full confidence that she can be back up on the stage in a couple of years. Now, this is going to take time. We have to give her time for healing, and we hope that this is the case, that she can actually do this. But right now, this disease that she has affects her muscles. So, and consequently, also affect her voice. So she can no longer sing. But she made the statement, and a lot of you have probably seen it already. She was on video. She placed it on video, and I'm pretty sure it was posted on social media as well. But it was done on mainstream TV, and I'm pretty sure it was also posted on mainstream, videos, of the mainstream social media like Facebook and possibly YouTube, you find everything on YouTube. I'm pretty sure she had posted that. But if you haven't heard that news by now, that's the news we have gotten. And again, we wish her, I've had my fingers crossed for her. We wish her the very best. And we hope that since she has the confidence, and it only takes her to say, I'm going to go back out there. If she has that confidence, then it's going to be done. And I think we can have hope for her as well, that she can go back on this. She's a marvelous singer, and she's recorded a lot of hit records. Unfortunately, she passed. Her husband passed away. You remember her husband, and so she's taking on a lot of things. So this is here now. She was suffering for a long time with this. So, and a lot of times, a lot of people, if they have something, they like to keep it under wraps until they get to the point where say, I really have to, let this out. And she did it. And in conjunction with revealing all of this, she's telling you right now, she has to cancel everything until she can deal with this. But she has the finest doctors, the therapists, and they're working on it. And we hope, and I really hope, that she's back up on stage soon. And by the time, because since she also does a show in Vegas, she has a resident show. And maybe, by that time, she'll be back on there and I can get a chance to see her too. What a marvelous entertainer she is. What a great voice. And she was kind of emotional about it, because let's face it, she said, this is all I have. This is all I know. She's been singing ever since a child. So this show business thing is all she knows. That's all she knows, And so we want to make sure that, and she's only 54 years old, you see? And so she has a long way to go, And that's why I'm hoping, that, this is just temporary. And this treatment that she's getting and the work that she's going to be getting from her doctors and therapists is going to bring her back in action. At the age of 54 years old, she has a lot of work to do, and we'll be looking forward to that. So there you have it. If you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live, and my name is Frank Allan, and I am going to be with you for the duration. We're going to be with you till the top of the hour. You're just joining us. It's coming up to 15 minutes past the hour. All right. And again, tell your friends about it, especially you guys who are watching us on Facebook. Tag all your friends, bring them in. You can do that. And again, please, you guys who are watching us on YouTube as well, also, please be aware that you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can do that right now. And of course, that will give you the opportunity to know whenever we come on live or we post anything, we will be there and you'll get the notifications and it'll bring you right to us. And for those of you who are watching us on Instagram too, thank you so much. Just keep following us. Okay, we're going to link up. As I always say, we're going to link up right now with Brian Camp. He's out there coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's got the latest developments in today's world of sports, and I can't wait to hear it. Brian, how's it going this night?
It's been a long week. It's been a long week of a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But I know the good news you've been waiting here to hear. I know you can't wait, but first let me say good evening to you and to everybody out there that's watching and tuning in and on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else that you're tuning in. It is 62 degrees out here in Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina with drizzle. It's been a like the last 3 or 4 days have been very dreary. This is good sleeping weather. So we say congratulations to the New York Yankees. And Aaron Judge is re-signed with the New York Yankees for one of the largest contracts in Major League Baseball history. He signed a 9-year, $360 million contract. Judge broke the American League home run record at 2022 with 62 home runs and won the American League MVP. So congratulations. Now they need pitching now. You can have all that hitting, but if you don't have pitching, you cannot win. So congratulations on the New York Yankees. Aaron Judge went to San Francisco that's his hometown. So there was a situation where he might have signed with his hometown family where he was from, the Giants, but that didn't happen. That was just a ploy just to see what the Yankees would do, and the Yankees, as always, budged, and he signed the contract.
He was a Giant fan too.
He was a Giant fan. He was born and raised there, yeah, and but it didn't happen. So he's better off in New York where he can make more money. New York is a big market town, as you know, and you could make your endorsements and make commercials in the Big Apple. So that's where he is going to stay. And for the next 9 years, he is going to be a New York Yankee. So congratulations to the Yankees on their signing, but they still have a lot to do in signing. Sad news in the world of boxing. Mills Lane, a Hall of Fame referee who officiated the Mike Tyson Evander Holyfield bite fight of more than 100 championship bouts, had died early this week at his home in Reno. Lane was known for his pre-fight catchphrase like "Let's get it on." Suffered a stroke back in March of 2022 that partially paralyzed him and left him virtually unable to speak. Mills Lane was a former boxer himself as a welterweight. He was a welterweight for a short while, and in 1988 he crossed over into the mainstream with his syndicated court program as the Judge Mills Lane show. And that was the time everybody was getting a show as being a judge and everything. But he was a judge for a short time. That ran into 2001. Mills Lane was a native Savannah, Georgia, that served as both a district attorney and district judge as well. He added to his place in pop culture as MTV's popular Claymation series. I don't know if you remember that with MTV, where they had these celebrity death matches and they were made out of clay, and that debuted back in 1998. That was a fun show. I used to love watching that, and hopefully one day that they would bring it back. So our prayers go out to Mills Lane and his family on this matter. Football news, which is really election news. former running back Herschel Walker, and Republican challenger and former Heisman Trophy winner lost to the Democratic Senator the Reverend Raphael Warnock in a Georgia runoff election. This was ensuing the Democrats as the outright majority in the Senate and the rest of Joe Biden's term. So so now that he won a full-time election, which means that he'll serve as in 6 years, because remember, he came in the middle of another term for somebody else. The name escapes me, but now he's there for the next 6 years until Joe Biden for the rest of his term. So Herschel Walker, I'm going to talk to you for a second, Herschel Walker. Just if you're tuning in, just you and I mean, the listeners could just tune in and listen, but let me just get close to you. Herschel Walker, we know what you did in football. You used to play for the Dallas Cowboys, but this is what you get. And I'm going to be very frank about this. This is what you get when you've been used. You've been used as a pawn by that man that used to occupy 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I know the history about the USFL football. He was your owner, he was your boss back in the 80s in the New Jersey Generals, but he didn't care about you. And let me say this to you, Herschel Walker. Listen very carefully, moving a little bit closer. After the election was official that you lost, I purposely tuned in to Fox News. And just, I don't listen to Fox, but CNN projected that you lost, and MSNBC. But Laura Ingraham, Kelly Conway was talking bad about you. And this is the quote that she said. We didn't think that he was going to win. He wasn't a good candidate anyway. See how quickly that the media, especially that channel Fox News, who's a one-sided Republican channel, and it's okay, but this is what they think of you. You was used as a pawn. It's okay to come back to us now. It's okay. It's okay, but you made a lot of mistakes. Own up to it. I wish you the best of luck. But next time, choose your friends. You was used by the Republican Party. They didn't care nothing about you. They just wanted you to fill that Senate seat. Sorry, had to be said. Had to be said. More news. WNBA, congratulations to Brittany Griner, freed from Russia in a dramatic, high-level and controversial exchange with the U.S. that brings the WNBA star and two-time Olympic medalist champion. 2 times Olympic medal champion. There's a reason why I'm emphasizing that. She's back home after a 10-month detention. The swap was made with an arms dealer, and tension over the invasion of Ukraine has built up, is achieve a top goal for President Joe Biden, but carry a heavy price to leave behind of Marine Paul Whelan, an American jail for nearly 4 years in Russia. The US wanted Paul Whelan for a swap, but the Russians declined. Now, I've been on social media all day today, the sports, social media. I'm what I'm about to say, I can't hold in. Every basketball, WNBA, NBA sports site that I went on, this is why America is so divided. It seemed like 99% of the white people that made comments said that she deserved to stay in jail. She's not an American. She don't deserve to be coming home. Bring Paul Whelan back home. And you know what? Yes, Paul Whelan should come back home. He ought to come back home. 4.5 years in Russia, man is serving our country, the United States of America, protect our borders. And hopefully one day, I wish he would come home. But to say she don't deserve, she's not an American, well, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Brittany Griner. You may not like her. I know back over there in Russia, they don't like um, um, women's sexual preferences of same-sex marriage. I get that. I understand that. That's in Russia, but we're in the United States. This happened in Russia. This happened in Russia. And the thing is, for people on social media to call her all sorts of names, she's an American. She has every right to say what she feels about the American flag. She's only exercising her constitutional rights. It's the First Amendment, freedom of speech. Many of you all say, oh, I like Dr. Martin Luther King and everything. He didn't do all of this. Let me tell you something. That's what Martin Luther King Jr. did back then. He protests a lot. And if he was alive today, he would protest. He would probably protest the American flag because of equal opportunity. I know I'm making a lot of people feel uncomfortable. And if you feel uncomfortable, you ought to feel uncomfortable. Brittany Griner did something terrible. She should be punished. But to say that she don't deserve to be an American, she doesn't deserve to be home, is an outrage. She's an American, whether you like it or not. I want to go more into details, but I can't because my time is short. But I got one more story that I want to share with you. Yesterday made 81 years of the Pearl Harbor attacks. 81. And let me just read this here. Private Robert Brooks, a tank driver in the 192nd Tank Battalion, he's from Kentucky, had only been in the Philippines for one day when he was killed in an early afternoon on December 8th, 1941 by a Japanese bomb. He was the first casualty in the US Armed Forces during World War II. But during the funeral arrangement, it was revealed that Brooks was a Black American serving in an all-white unit. December 7th made 81 years ago that our nation was attacked at Pearl Harbor by Japanese forces. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president, was on the next day declared war, and the US was officially enter into World War II. The Navy lost 2,008 people. The Army lost 218. The Marines lost 109. And there was 68 civilians, so a total of 2,403 and 1,178 wounded. I know we talk about 9/11 because it's probably still fresh in our minds, and we ought to remember the victims in New York City at the World Trade Center. But let's not forget our American heroes, our American soldiers and personnel who died on that Sunday morning when we was attacked by Pearl Harbor. I wasn't born. I'm a history buff. I love history. I love history. We sometimes put 9/11 over Pearl Harbor, but there's only 2 survivors that was in that war left in the world that fought for the United States. 2. I was watching the news yesterday. 2. Let us remember Pearl Harbor. This day in sports, 1940, the NFL championship game was between the Chicago Bears and the Washington Redskins was a 73-0 win. It was the most lopsided victory in NFL history. It was also the first radio broadcast game too. 1960, Major League Baseball expansion team, the LA Angels, signed a 4-year lease to use Dodger Stadium. 1961, Larry Costello, I remember him, scored 32 consecutive points without a miss. That was an NBA record back then. I think it probably still is. 1994, Darryl Strawberry indicted on tax evasion charges. In 2011, the NBA and the NBA Players Association financially agreement to end a 161-day lockout, which shortened the season by 16 games. This day in sports birthdays: Roy Firestone, former ESPN sportscaster, was born in Miami, Florida. Former football player, 1958. George Rogers, NCAA Heisman Trophy and NFL running back, was born in Duluth, Georgia. And in 1967, Jeff George, an NFL quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons and the Oakland LA Raiders, was born in Indianapolis, Indiana. 1961, Philip Rivers, NFL quarterback who just recently retired, was born in Decatur, Alabama. And in 1985, Dwight Howard, NBA center, who is now overseas, who was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, excuse me, but I'm not going to say forgive me, because I'm not, this is how I feel, but this is how I have to express myself. But this is sports. That is sports.
And on a positive note, with the Brittany Griner situation, I wanted to add something on that. Now, I'm glad that she's back. She's coming home. She's on her way as we speak, because she's coming out of Russia. That's a long way. And I know especially a lot of you sports fans out there, I know a lot of you are thinking, can't wait for her to get back. She can get back on that basketball court. Well, let me stop you right there. You got to remember, we're not going to rush Brittany Griner. If she decides that she wants to go back and play basketball, fine. I would like to see her go back, but it's going to be a long time, because now she's got to come home. She's got to get together with her family, and she is going to have to get therapy, and she's still got to process all of this, and it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a long time. So I'm glad that she's back, but let's give her some breathing room. And as they said in the news early today, they say, respect the family's wishes. Let's leave her alone. Let's let her, do what she has to do. Let's let her enjoy her family, and let's not rush her back into basketball. She'll do it in her own time. But again, it's going to take, if she decides that she wants to do it, it's going to take a long time before she does it.
One guy made a joke about it. He's just a character. He's just a clown. He said, very sarcastically, said, "Well, now she's home. I bet you she's on that plane right now, smoking a joint on her way home." I know the guy. I wanted to reach through the computer and just choke him, But this is what we hear. This is what we're facing in America. I'm going to be very honest with you. A lot of white people is not happy with this at all, and I understand why they're not happy. Because yes, Paul Whelan deserved to come home. He deserved to come home. But somebody had to go home. If you want to, don't blame the president of the United States. Putin did not want to budge. He was the one that says, no, it's either Brittany Griner or there's no deal at all. So don't get mad at Brittany Griner. What she did was wrong. I'm not saying that she was right. What she did was wrong. She deserved to be punished, but she's home. That's all that counts.
I posted on my Facebook page today about free Paul Whelan, because you're right. I want to see him out of there too. I only wish that they had put him, like you say, Russia. It should have been the package, both of Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan. It should have been a package deal, that they both get them both out of there. And I'm confident that they're going to get them out of there. I'm confident that they're going to do that. And then when they do that, they're going to have to look and find other Americans in there and bring them back home as well, providing, they didn't do anything, really bad for them to stay in there. But we gotta bring these people back home, and I'm just hoping too, when Brittany, she sits down and she reflects on everything, and she just takes a look at herself, and just I'm just praying for her.
And she was in like a penal colony. That's something.
I mean, they treated her.
Yeah.
They treated her like she was an animal.
Yeah.
They were wheeling her like she was in a cage. They were wheeling her into the courtroom.
Yeah. Well, Russia does not believe in, those sexual preferences of same sex. Thank God for America, where we have the freedom to speak.
You don't have to believe in it, but just leave them alone. You don't have to. But it's not for you to judge people. It's not for you to say who's in love with who or who should marry who. It's not for us to say that. In New York, they just passed a bill. They just passed a bill this morning. So people who have been married previously, same-sex married previously, get to stay with their spouses.
That's it.
We don't judge anything.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so what does it look like tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow I'll be here.
Good.
In fact, I'll be cooking tonight around 4 a.m. in the morning. I gotta I'm going to an event tomorrow, so I gotta be up 4 a.m. in the morning for this 12-hour cooking thing I gotta cook. So it's gonna be ready for tomorrow night. So yes.
Okay. Well, we'll see you back.
Maybe that will calm me down a little bit, right? Because that would calms me down when I start smoking and cooking. Yes.
All right. Well, we'll catch you here tomorrow morning then.
See you tomorrow.
All right. Take care of yourself. That was Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. He's here every Thursday at this time and bringing you the latest. Great conversation. Great. There's a lot of things that I want to cover tonight. I'm going to still, linger on them, but not too much, because he covered a lot of things that I wanted to say. But that's what it is, sports. And he kind of goes off a little bit and say things, which is good. And this is what the show is all about, a little free exchange. And if you have any ideas that you wanted to talk about too, if you want to rebuttal, it's free. Let us know what you think, what we just said, what we just said. You're allowed to come in and chime in, and we will let you have your say. We'll just type it in, and we'll see you right there up on the big screen. And just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and we're going to be with you to the top of the hour. And later on in the program, as I said, we have for you movies that from Turner Classic Movies, my picks of the week for all of you people who want to get on some great movies. I have a couple of to talk to you about. You could we'll have that for you, all of that, great movies. I know you like those Turner Classic Movies. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time right now on this day in history. We're going to go way back. Let's see if you can remember. Back in 1776, George Washington's retreating army crosses the Delaware River in New Jersey, from New Jersey. On this day in history in 1792, the first cremation in the United States was Henry Lawrence. On this day in history in 1813, Ludwig van Beethoven's Seventh Symphony in A premieres in Vienna with Beethoven conducting. On this day in history in 1863, Abraham Lincoln issues his amnesty proclamation and plan for reconstruction of the South. On this day in history in 1914, Irving Berlin's musical Watch Your Step premieres in New York City. On this day in history in 1930, Cole Porter's musical The New Yorkers, it opens at the B.S. Moss's Broadway Theater in New York City and runs for 169 performances. On this day in history in 1936, the NAACP files suit to equalize salaries of Black and white teachers. On this day in history in 1949, On the Town, the film starring Gene Kelly, Frank Sinatra, Ann Mira, and Vera Ellen premieres. On this day in history, also in 1949, Julie Stein's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes opens at the Ziegfeld Theater in New York City for 740 performances. On this day in history in 1951, A Tree Grows in Brooklyn closes at the Alvin Theater in New York City after 267 performances. On this day in history in 1956, Guy Mitchell's Singing the Blues, the single that goes to #1 for 10 weeks. On this day in history in 1957, CBS broadcast The Sound of Jazz live from New York City, featuring Count Basie, Red Allen, Ben Webster, Thelonious Monk, and Jerry Mulligan, and highlights the last collaboration of Billie Holiday and Lester Young on that song, Fine and Mellow. On this day in history in 1960, the musical Peter Pan starring Mary Martin was broadcast for the third time on NBC as a special event, videotaped in color for future rebroadcast. On this day in history in 1962, I Can Get It For You wholesale that closes at the Schubert Theater in New York City after 300 performances. On this day in history in 1963, Frank Sinatra Jr. is kidnapped at Harrah's Lake Tahoe in Nevada. On this day in history in 1980, Bravo Network premieres on cable TV. On this day in history, 2004, the 15th Billboard Music Award goes to Usher, Alicia Keys, and Toby Keith. In 1911, actor Lee J. Cobb was born on this day in New York City, and he passed away in 1976. Sammy Davis Jr. was born on this day in 1925 in New York City. He was born in Harlem Hospital. He passed away May 16, 1990, at the age of 64 from throat cancer. In 1933, comedian Flip Wilson was born on this day in Jersey City, New Jersey. He passed away in 1998. In 1939, singer Jerry Butler was born on this day in Sunflower, Mississippi. He's 83 years old today. Happy birthday, Jerry. In 1925, jazz musician and organist Jimmy Smith was born in Norristown, Pennsylvania. He passed away 2005. Jim Morrison of the Doors was born on this day in 1943. He was born in Melbourne, Florida. He passed away July 3rd, 1971, at the age of 27 years old. In 1947, Greg Allman of the Allman Brothers Band was born in Nashville, Tennessee. He passed away 2017. In 1950, singer Dan Hartman was born in West Hanover, Pennsylvania. He passed away in 1997. In 1953, actress Kim Basinger was born. She's 69 years old today. Comedian Sam Kinison was born on this day in 1953. He was born in Yakima, Washington, and he died April 10th, 1992, at the age of 38 years old. He died in a car accident. Singer-songwriter Sinead O'Connor was born on this day in 1966. And she was born in Glengarry, Ireland, and she's 56 years old today. Rapper and singer Nicki Minaj was born on this day in 1982. She was born in St. James, Port of Spain, Trinidad, Tobago. She's 40 years old today. Happy birthday, Nicki. In 2007, Happy Days actor Scott Baio weds longtime girlfriend Renee Sloan in Los Angeles, California. 2007, Backstreet Boys member Howie Doro, he weds his longtime girlfriend, Leah Bonelli, Bionelli, her name is. And they were wed in Orlando, Florida. And the first African-American astronaut, Robert Henry Lawrence Jr., died on this day in 1967 at the age of 32 years old. He was killed doing a training in a plane crash of the F-104 Starfighter, I should say. And he was born October 2nd, 1935 in Chicago, Illinois. The fourth Prime Minister of Israel, Golda Meir, died on this day in 1978, and she was 80 years old. She died from leukemia, and she was born May 3rd in 1898. She was born in the Russian Empire in Ukraine. And John Lennon of the Beatles, as you already know, it's been all over social media today, died on this day in 1980 at the age of 40 years old. He was gunned down in New York City. He was born October 9th, 1940 in Liverpool, England. In 1982, we have country singer Marty Robbins. He dies of complications of following cardiac surgery. He was 57 years old at the time. In 1991, jazz trumpeter Buck Clayton dies at the age of 80. 1996, actor Howard E. Rollins dies at the age of 46. In 2013, actor Don Mitchell dies at the age of 70. Astronaut John Glenn died on this day, 2016, at the age of 95. He was born in July of 1921. Actually, it was July 18th in 1921. And let's see, he was born in Cambridge, Ohio. And finally, 2021, Ralph Tavares, soul R&B and soul singer from the group Tavares. What they made that big hit, Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel. He died at the age of 79 years old. So that's this day in history. If you know anything that's happening on this day in history that I didn't mention, please let us know. Let us know. And of course, I will be glad to read it off and convey it to everyone else out there. And if you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan. I am going to be with you to the top of the hour. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. Those of you who are watching us on Facebook, we have a little more time left, just a little more time left. Take that time and tag your friends, and maybe they'll come in and enjoy it as well, what's left of the show. And of course, I want to remind all of you people who are watching us on YouTube is to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Get a chance to do that. That gives you a chance to know when we come on live. You'll be notified when that happens. Notification will pop right up there. Or even if we post something, notification will pop right up there. All you have to do is click onto that notification and you're right there on the website, right there with us. And so, and for the rest of you guys who are watching us on Instagram, thank you so much for being along with us. Now, I know a lot of you who watch us don't indulge in conversation, and that's okay too. And if you're out there and there's a lot of people that just like to sit idly, they like to sit idly by and watch and listen. And so we thank you for that. And we thank you so much for your time. Those of you who bailed out early, we hope that when you come back, well, if you bailed out early, you won't even hear what I'm saying, but we hope that they do come back. But for those of you who stay with us for the duration, we thank you so much for that. And again, tell your family and friends all about it. Yes, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week. I'm happy about the Brittany Griner situation. I'm happy about that because it's been a long time coming. It's been 10 whole months, 10 months. And that's a long time to be locked up. That looks like a cage and you're wheeled into the courtroom in a cage. And I guess Russia does things differently. And this is the United States, and we're glad that she's back home. And when she lands, I'm pretty sure her wife will be there. And I'm pretty sure, you know, something, they will probably televise that. Maybe not live, but you'll probably see some videos of it when they come in. And that would be a sight to see. So we don't know when she's landing, but it's a long flight from Russia to New York, and or wherever her hometown is. But I think she's landing in, I can't remember where the landing. I think she's going to be landing in Texas. I think that's what it is. She's landing in Texas. So we wait around for that, and we'll see what happens. Okay, there you go. And again, Brian already mentioned, but I want to congratulate Raphael Warnock for his victory. In Georgia, he is now the senator. He's going to do 6 more years in the Senate. So we want to congratulate him. And Herschel Walker, I want to wish him the best of luck. You know, I was hoping when Herschel Walker conceded, and to be honest with you, I was surprised that he did concede, following the footsteps of as Whoopi Goldberg would say, you know who, but I have a name for him, 345/666 Beast Incarnate. I was surprised that he conceded, but he did. But, I was wishing and I was hoping that both parties, Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock, I was just hoping that each one of them mentioned each other's name. I was hoping that in the concession speech of Herschel Walker, that he would have said something like, well, like he said, well, we're not going to make any excuses, which was a great thing for him to say. But I was hoping that he would say something like, and to Reverend Raphael Warnock, congratulations to you. And I wish you the best in your 6 years. And if there's anything I can do to help make things better in Georgia, because he did say he wants to make things good in Georgia. If I can help you as a Republican to a Democrat, help you make good in Georgia, help you whatever you need me to do, give me a call and I will be there for you. That would have been awesome. That would have sent a total message out to the Republicans, especially the MAGA Republicans. I wish he had said something like that. That would have been so awesome. And I wish that Raphael Warnock would have said something in his speech. Herschel Walker, you put up a hell of a fight, but I wish you a lot of luck. And you get the idea. I wish both sides would have done that. Would have been so awesome. That would have totally sent a message to a lot of these people who, were saying, if you're a Republican, you're a Republican, vote Republican. The rest of it, forget about it. Send a message out to the Democrats. That would have been a great way to unite right there. That would have said something. I only wish that was happening. And I sat back and watched. And just like Brian said, I also purposely turned on to Fox News just to see. I'm not a Fox News watcher, but I just wanted to see what they were going to do. And they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. Laura Ingraham, Molly Hemingway, and Kellyanne Conway. I saw them. And they were crying the blues. They lost, they were losers, and blah, 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 blah. Just as I expected what was going to happen actually happened. It was so predictable. And like it or not, this is the way it is now. Now, most of 345/66 Beast Incarnate, all of his picks, they were all losers. Most of them, they were all losers. And so, of course, this doesn't put him in a good light, doesn't put him in a good shade, because this guy, he's got his own problems right now. And here he is, he wants to run for that big position as president of the United States. And he wants to run for that. And he's got and you've already heard the story that his company, the 345/666 Beast Incarnate organization, was convicted of criminal tax fraud, right? Like I told you, so many things happened this week. And of course, they were falsifying documents. They were spending money on things like cars, a lavish lifestyle, tuition for their grandchildren, spending that kind of money. And as I always say, we reap what we sow. What's done in the darkness comes to light. And here we are. And the circle, some people say the circle, I like to say the walls are closing in. They're closing in, and before you know it, but we're going to have to see. As they say, stay tuned and you'll see. But yeah, and you know something, it may not have affected him. It may not have affected him personally. All right. But his name is on those buildings. His name is on, it's the 345/666 Beast Incarnate brand. His name is on it. And his daughter, it didn't affect his daughter or her husband, or it didn't affect the junior boy. It didn't affect him. But it's not over yet. Things are still happening, you know, and of course, documents, they have to, those documents that were taken from the White House, and now he may have to be subpoenaed again. There's a lot of things happening. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. And let's see what happens. Did you hear the story about actress Jennifer Lawrence? Jennifer Lawrence drew criticism. She drew criticism from a lot of people. And it was all over social media too, and in the news too. And she said something, she made a statement. She says, I remember when I was doing Hunger Games, which was a movie that she made. She said, nobody had ever put a woman in a lead of action in an action movie because it wouldn't work. I don't know what she's talking about. Do we remember action? There were a lot of women that did action movies long before she was born. She wasn't the first. Do we remember Pam Grier? Remember Pam Grier? Foxy Brown, remember? Wasn't she an action figure in her movies? Okay, what about Tamara Dotson? Remember her? Cleopatra Jones? Wasn't that action? How about Teresa Graves? Get Christy Love. How about that? Wasn't that action? Oh, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman, Sigourney Weaver. All of these women were working long before you were born, Jennifer. So knock it off. You weren't the first to do anything. Okay, forget about it. Okay, I don't want to linger on that too much because I have movies for you guys to watch over the weekend. And of course, this is something that I do each week. So I want to get started with that before the show is over. Don't want to waste any more time on Jennifer. I have 2 movies this week, only 2. And they're classic movies. They're classic movies. And the first one I want to talk about, this one is called The Shop Around the Corner. It goes back to 1940, starring James Stewart and Margaret Sullivan. And that's coming on Turner Classic Movies. You'll see that Saturday night, Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's a wonderful black and white movie. It's a nice comedy. And I think you're going to like it too. Here's something else, the second one. This goes back to 1962. Days of Wine and Roses. And it stars Jack Lemmon and Lee Remick. And of course, this is not a comedy. This is a total drama. And I'm not going to give you the theme of the movie itself because I don't want to give it away, but you'll like it. Check it out. It's on this Sunday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. And you can check that out. Now, if you have other movies that you might want to check out on Turner Classic Movies, go to Turner Classic Movies, check out the icon, go through the program guide and check it out. Go through the program guide and check it out. There may be other movies that you might want to see. And you can put that down on your list as well. Now, I'm telling you, these movies, if you don't get the chance to see them in real time, DVR them. That's what it's for. Check it out. So again, here we go. Shop Around the Corner, starring James Stewart and Margaret Sullivan, and Days of Wine and Roses. This one, Shop Around the Corner, is on Turner Classic Movies. That's Saturday at 6 p.m. And Days of Wine and Roses with Jack Lemmon and Lee Remick. That's Sunday at 9:45 p.m. I hope that you get a chance to watch these movies. They're all classic. Let me know how you like them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for me. I enjoyed the show very much, and I hope you did too. I will be back here tomorrow morning bright and early at 10 a.m. Eastern for the coffee hour. I will be here with Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. DJ Pete will be along with his part of the 2020 feature too. Entertainment news, and he will be giving you all of those birthdays of people of notoriety who will be celebrating on that week. That's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I hope you will be here. Other than that, check us out back here next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more of Talk Back Live. Brian Camp will be here, of course, and of course, you will be here as well, and we'll talk together and have a lot of fun. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.